All right, guys, gonna record another game here. This is another Terran versus Zerg. So I was just talking about in chat, somebody did ask a good question. I love when people ask me good questions, and I decided to hold the answer until I made this video so that it would be easier for everybody tuning in to get the answer. So the question asked was, Nathanius, is manual lock-on a must to get Cyclones to do anything useful? The answer is no. I think that manually locking on is important, but you don't have to disable autocast. So that's a big question that comes up, you know. Should I disable autocast if I want my Cyclones to be good? And the reason why I say no is you want your Cyclones to lock on as often and as quickly as they can. There's very rarely a bad target for your Cyclone to lock on to, because your Hellions should kill Lings, etc., etc. Especially if the Cyclone's cooldown for lock-on gets reduced, which apparently, according to a bug admitted by Blizzard, is going to be a potential change that happens. So, to give the answer as to why it's okay to leave auto lock on, but why manually locking is still really important. When your Cyclones lock on, the first Cyclones that will lock on are going to be probably your Cyclones that are closest to the enemy. This is significant because the Cyclone's range to acquire a lock-on target is 7. But the lock-on range, as we all know, is something like 14 or 15. It's really, really long range, especially if you have vision for it, right? So the reason why you use manual lock-on, why I use it with rapid fire, you can find a tutorial for rapid fire in my YouTube channel, is it allows you to just hold down the lock-on question with your mouse over the enemy units. And that will allow the Cyclones that are behind your front line to lock on to their front line. Because your game will never make your Cyclones lock on to one unit with more than one Cyclone. Like, it'll always be one Cyclone per unit per lock-on. So if there's 6 roaches and you have 8 Cyclones, normally only 6 Cyclones will lock on. The rest of your Cyclones will do absolutely jack all. So that's why you want to use the auto lock, because the auto lock will get you those targets. But then once you have those targets, you want to use rapid fire with your Cyclone lock-on ability so that it can force your Cyclones to overkill. You want to overkill with your Cyclones on those roaches, because the faster the roaches die, obviously, the better. It's like, yeah, but Nate, don't you... So someone might say, Nate, don't you want your Cyclone lock-on to be spread out and lock on to every single unit? Yeah, but to do that, you have to move your ball of Cyclones forward, because you don't have 500 APM. I don't have 500 APM. How on earth am I supposed to lock on all my Cyclones onto all of his roaches without having any of my units get hit by any of his? And that's when you realize that it's like, it's better to have 10 Cyclones overkill on 6 roaches than it is to lock 10 Cyclones onto 10 roaches and lose 3 or 4 of those Cyclones in that process. So hopefully you guys appreciate that answer. That is the answer. That's the full answer. Since this is going to be recorded forever, I figured it was a reasonable time to try and give a good solid explanation for my opinion. Although there may be other people that tell you otherwise. There may be people that say you should use something different, which is also fine. Personally, I'm not super attached to the idea of the lock-on thing. I wouldn't mind if, like, Cyclones didn't have lock-on but just attacked faster, had more range or something. Oh well. C'est la vie. So right now I'm just gonna chill my Hellions. We're gonna do the Cyclone build again because it's really fun. I hope you guys have been enjoying these games. I really like this. I really like this Cyclone builds and strategies that I've been doing. I feel like I'm starting to hammer it out. Obviously, I opened really greedy, but we already had this conversation. We don't need to have it again. Or maybe we need to have it again. I like playing greedy because this is a fun way for me to play. Part of my rehabilitation in StarCraft, in terms of not getting frustrated or salty or BM, was in fact to just start doing what I actually wanted to do as far as builds and strategies go. StarCraft is such a stressful game. I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced ladder anxiety before. I don't want that. So the best counter to that for me is to just play the game however I want. And then if I lose, I can be like, well, you know, I was kind of just messing around. That's an okay excuse. That's not a bad excuse. It's better than blaming the game or your opponent. So in that regard, I think that's a pretty solid choice, you know. just be like, yeah, I'm just trying to have fun. I'm not playing to win. And if any of you guys would like to contact me, if you'd like to offer me like $30,000 to compete in a tournament, then I will try hard. Then I'll try hard. But right now I don't make any money from winning games. So unless someone wants to sponsor my ladder record with a substantial amount of cash, I think we can just play StarCraft 2 for fun. Unsurprisingly, I don't expect any returned calls on part of that. So, my Hellions got some drones. Not a lot of drones. We got some drones. Is his lair done yet? It is done. What's he getting? Oh, a spire and an infestation pit. Interesting. Very interesting. So, is the spire for Mutalisks? Is it for Broodlords? Is it for Corruptors to possibly deal with something like that? Either of those? It's hard to say. The way that I set these Liberators up makes it very difficult for an opponent to Ling harass me, because the Liberators will just chew them apart one by one, which is important. And I do need turrets, because he will have a spire, even if he's not going mutas, or if he's not intending to make Mutalisks the prime, you know, factor of his army composition. We still have to respect the spire, because if we only build Hellions right now and don't get any turrets, and then he does a sick run by and kills half of our stuff, all we're going to be thinking to ourselves is, why didn't we at least think about it? And I may not be super try-harding, but it also doesn't mean I just want to throw games away. Except for Terran versus Terran. I hate TvT. Matchup is too quick for me. I like to play this style. This is like, you know, I don't have to do 6 splitting. This is more like harass, get good positioning, you know, get a good strategy, a good army composition, and just outwit my opponent. When I play this style, I feel like I'm abusing him, you know. When I play Bio, I feel like I'm kind of just like playing against the clock against ultras. And I don't really care about the discussion on whether or not like things like ultras or whatever are overpowered. I just prefer not to take part in parts of the game that I find to be really frustrating. So whether you think, well, you know, however you feel about Ultralisks and Terran versus Zerg with Bio and whatnot, I personally don't enjoy playing versus it all that much, so you're not going to see me really going crazy on that front. Well, I'd say that was a pretty solid hold. He didn't really accomplish anything there. The Liberators wrecked his Mutalisks, and the other Liberators wrecked his Roaches. I think that was a bit too aggressive on his part. He made this push in. He wasn't even maxed out. He probably could have had more Roaches now that I think about it. So what I want to do is, I want to send these Cyclones to harass. And send these Hellions up here. And now I'm starting to get enough resources. I can get more factories. Building walls is really important because Donald Trump's going to be president. But also because, oh, see, look at this. He's like, oh, I've got a hatchery. Nice meme. Oh, no. He's got lings. No! Oh, man. I messed up this opportunity. I should have just killed those drones while I had the chance. I mean, Cyclone's 3-shot drones, right? So I can work with that, but... This was a bit botched. I wanted to just move in and snipe this base with the Cyclone lock-on. That was kind of the point of this. Snipe the hatch, get out. Obviously, that is not what happened, but whatever. Promise I will say this, and whatever, man, whatever, man. Got triple? Oh, baby, a triple. The important thing to note with the triple is that he has, he's going into Hydralisks as well, which tells me, not lurkers, but it tells me that my Hellions are going to be better. Hellions, blue flame are going to be really good. Why don't I have blue flame? Becomes another great question. So I tell my my liberators to focus down the, or my Hellions to focus down the Hydras. I just realized how dumb it was that I didn't have Blue Flame. Usually I get Blue Flame pretty fast with this strategy. So that was a mistake. Mistakes happen. See how we focus down. Also, Corruptors don't stand a chance against upgraded Cyclones with Mag Accelerator. GG! Corruptors die really, really, really fast because their armor doesn't help them against Cyclones. Cyclone's attack is an ability, and therefore it is not hindered by any variety of armor that a unit has, be it an Ultralisk, a Corruptor, or anything like that. Because as you guys can see, Corruptors have 2 armor by default. So, GG.